So Stanger had a near-death experience, which a lot of people are wondering about. And I guess to really hear it from out of the fucking horse's mouth, like it's Nancy's story because she was not comatose and actually like knows what happened. So it's all like secondhand if you're getting it from Stanger.
Right. To get it from the horse's mouth, we're gonna lather peanut butter all over Stanger's gums and just let him go ham, explaining his story right from the.
But like, if you want, Gabrus and I did go to visit Stanger. So Stanger,
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
do you want to feel comfortable talking
totally
about this? Am I throwing you under the bus?
No, not at all. Dumbbells scooped us. I wanted to kind of put it out here on Action Boys, but Nancy. It makes more sense for Dumbbells, your health podcast.
I think it's bullshit. No, I think it should have been.
If we lost out on a potential $8, I'm pissed.
Yeah, and I am, and I think we did.
But it was, Nancy wanted to tell the story, and she's the one that did the heavy lifting in that respect. So
yeah, so I guess people might not know, but like 3 years ago, Ryan went into cardiac arrest in the middle of the night. And I like heard him like almost like gurgling. I thought he was snoring. And so I told him like, Ryan, wake up. I was like, or turn over, and he didn't. And I kept like smacking his face, and he was just like limp, like he wasn't moving.
My heart essentially stopped beating due to some kind of mechanical anomaly. That were, electrical thing that where your heart just stops beating. I went into VFib. And so Nancy heard me, fortunately, making weird noises. It was lucky. It's the middle of the night. She was sleeping. I was sleeping. And I was making like a, deathgasm, like a rattle, like some kind of weird noise. Couldn't wake me up. So she had to fucking call 911 because she's slapping me across the face and couldn't get me to wake up.
I had to call 911. It was the middle of the night. And I shut our son's door, and I opened our front door, and the 911 operator, I said, he's not breathing. He's like, you have to like do CPR on him. And I'm like, I don't know how to do CPR. And he's like, I'm gonna walk you through it. So for 6 minutes, I had to do CPR on Ryan, and he was not breathing.
CPR now is you just pump the person's chest. You don't even breathe for them. So whatever oxygenated blood I had left in my body, she had to pump to hope that it was feeding my brain enough until these paramedics got there.
Yeah, I had to push 2 inches deep. The guys told me.
Exhausting, and so you have to be in shape.
I knew when he said that, when the 911 operator told me that, I was like, oh, shit's going down. I was like, this, and I'm like, not on my watch. All the firefighters came. By this time, it was like 2 a.m. And I got like a couple breaths out of him, I think. And then they shocked him like 6 or 7 times in our house. And then they just like left with him. If you guys probably know Ryan now, like he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs. Like he's like a total purist, like the healthiest guy you'll ever meet. Like he's always taken great care of his body. So it was like, initially everyone was like, are there drugs in the house? And I'm like, no, there's no drugs in the house.
And then so they got me, took me to the hospital, to the emergency room. You don't really flatline, but I had to get shocked again on the way to the hospital. So I got to the hospital, and then they got me stabilized, but I was in a coma. And so they rolled with the coma, and they did medically induced hypothermia, to where they crash you down really cold. So if you have any kind of traumatic brain injury from the lack of oxygen, they think that maybe your brain has a better chance of surviving if you're that cold like that.
And it was the opening weekend of Star Wars. We were calling you Han Solo.
Oh, okay. Maybe Solo came out, the worst Star Wars movie.
That was it. Anyway, so yeah, my arms, I feel, were buff enough that I was able to do CPR on him. If anyone's ever done CPR, first of all, it's freaking hard to do for like 1 minute, let alone 6. I didn't have anyone to help me. And that's what essentially saved his life. So
yeah,
I always knew he was my soulmate. But after this situation, I just have proof like we were meant to be together, because I needed to be there with him at that moment in his life. So now he's stuck with me forever.
So while I was in the coma, So word went out to people that I performed and worked with that like, hey, Stanger's in a coma. You may want to come in and say a word to him, check on him. Maybe he can hear you. Maybe he can't. Maybe this is the last he'll be around. It wasn't looking good. And so Rogers and Gabris came to visit me in the hospital while I was in a coma. And it's full on ventilator, like being intubated, being breathed for. And so
a little extra dab of backstory is, I would say Rogers is someone I've been friends with since I was 22. He was at my wedding, my dad's funeral, like these life events. Stanger, we all became friends in our like early 30s, and you are a busy sort of homebody person that is not out all the so. We don't even know. I've never met Nancy at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and then we're meeting like your we're meeting your wife as your parents, and you're in a fucking chair, like in the hospital bed in front of us. And we're like, Stanger is like, of our friends, like the one we don't know the least about. Now we're just dropped into his phone. Like Nancy texted me, "Hi, this is Nancy, Stanger's wife. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Holy shit. Like it was such a, and then we're literally meeting your mom and dad. We're like, and I'm like, oh yeah, I talked to him for 6 hours a week for the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's real weird to like meet like Stanger's whole family, like in the hospital.
We have the log of
tons of stories about my parents
from the
and
podcast.
Family and everything.
Right.
And so people listening know if you just do like a quick Google search on cardiac arrest, it's grim. Like it usually does not end well. Like I'm in a very rare, low percentage of people that come out of this. So this is like these guys, that's why the discussions of like, what do we do? Do we keep...
So yeah, Gamers and I had a few very weird discussions. Like I remember driving to the hospital being like, I mean, do we keep doing the podcast? Like,
we're just hitting our stride.
It's a good opportunity for some diversity, maybe to.
We're like, bad news. We replace you. We tell you the moment you wake up. We've replaced
Gabrus,
you.
Do you remember any of the bits we were doing with Stanger? Like,
yes, when we came back to when you were awake, we were doing a bit. Because we did this bit while you're asleep in the coma. We did a bit about how Jesus, okay, and we we were looking at your dick like two doctors, and we just kept talking about.
I remember a couple of them now.
We were just like pretending, God, his hog, it's so scarred. How did it even get like that? And then when you were awake, we were like, yeah, we were looking at your dick and shit. Yeah. That's like your mom and sister.
Like the nurses were like walking by, and we were going like, oh man, that dick's fucking crazy looking.
Also, Stanger is unconscious in a coma, and me and Rogers are cackling.
We're laughing so hard. We keep on going like, we kept on whispering stuff like, congratulations, you're a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, because
we were like whispering like positive affirmations to him.
Yeah,
you did it, buddy.
You got drafted. Like we were doing.
You got drafted. Congratulations.
Rhino,
welcome to the
Bills.
Your jokes were funny. They were funny, and they were jokes.